Okay, before I start, just make sure you go to the bottom right hand corner of your YouTube screen and click full screen so you can view this video in a larger size and you're able to read everything that I'm explaining to you. What we're going to do is look at how to use ratings and why you need to use them and their importance, and to do that we're going to actually look at a race that was run on the 8th of June at Eagle Farm as an example. Just before I go on with that, I just want to discuss probability and why it's important that you understand it, and why value is important. It's something that gets spoken about a lot, but something that a lot of people, and especially a lot of punters, don't really understand. So I think the best way of doing that is to use a coin toss as an example. In any game of chance like horse racing, you need to understand probability of winning, and thus you'll also understand the probability of losing. So with a coin toss, there's only two results possible. You toss it, it's either going to fall heads or it's going to fall tail. So therefore the price is evens, $2. But we also know that if you toss a coin infinitum, that it's going to fall heads and tails 50% of the time. So therefore, in the short term, it's possible that you could actually make a couple of dollars if you're silly enough to take even money about a head or tail coin toss. However, long term, all that's going to happen is you're going to break even. Short term you might win some, short term you might lose some, but it's just a pointless exercise doing it. On the other hand, if someone was silly enough to offer you $2.20 about a coin toss, then you're in a very strong position, because if you were, say, to receive $2.20 about tails falling, for argument's sake, then over 100 spins at $1 bet a go, you're going to spend $100. Tails are going to fall without going into the intricacies of variance, etc. Tails are going to fall 50% of the time. So 50 times out of 100, you're going to get a result. 50 times $2.20 equals 110. So therefore you've made $10. That's 10% on turnover, and that's a good thing. So how do we apply that to horse racing? Well, the first thing we need to do is come up with a market of 100% or less, and that's something that takes a lot of time, skill and experience to do. So we're not going to go into that. We would if you had a couple of days, but what we are going to do is look at how we can handle a set of ratings once you have them, in order to determine whether a particular horse you want to back is value or not. So for those of you that are in a position to sit at a computer when you're punting, we've come up with a spreadsheet that you can use that's going to enable you to determine which horses are value or over their odds. But before we deal with that, let's look at the obvious. The majority of information displayed on the screen is pretty obvious: horse number, name, etc. But the areas that need explanation are these columns here, so I'll quickly go through those with you. As a side issue, speed maps. What we do here at Red Belly, and every professional should do, and basically most of them do, is ascertain the tempo of a race so we can work out where horses are going to be. So this speed map column here will actually show you where we expect a horse to be in the run, and that's really good information, particularly if there is a track bias and leaders are getting home, etc, etc. So in this particular example, you can see that number 1, that means leader. Listen Son, we expect to lead. Transporter, we expect to be sitting outside it in the run. Diadem 3rd. Pellegrini 4th, take 'em at 5th, etc, etc, etc. If you don't understand speed maps, that's another story. Having said that, what you do need to understand is that backing horses that get well back in the run is not something you want to do. So position in run, is very important. Okay, the next and most important column is this column here, which is the rated price we've given to each horse, and we derive that price based on a lot of calculations and algorithms that we use, and basically what a price is a probability. But rather than give you the actual probability or percentage chance of winning, we actually give it to you as a price. But having said that, those probabilities are also displayed in this column here. So there's two ways or three ways or probably four of explaining what percentages are. I'll just do a very brief example for you. If we were to look at number 3, transporter, our calculations have it as a 22.22% chance of winning. Now that's not exact, but it's our calculation. So 22.22% actually equates to $4.50. So we're saying a $4.50 chance is going to win a race 22 times out of 100. Conversely, a $26 chance is going to win a race 3.85 times out of 100. And as another example, a $9 chance is going to win a race approximately 11 times out of 100. So what we do need to do is to make sure that we don't take silly prices. So going back to the coin toss, taking even money about a coin toss is not good enough. It's not going to produce profit in the long term. Taking $1.90 certainly is going to produce a loss. And conversely, taking $2.20 about a coin toss is very good odds. So what we're going to do here is look for horses that are over the odds, like the $2.20 would be in a coin toss, and they're the horses that we're going to back. Now once we determine which horses we're going to back, which I'm going to show you in a minute, we've pre-calculated here for you some staking plans. So if horses are over their odds, these are the amounts that we're going to put on them. Now what we're going to do is use this spreadsheet we've designed to assist you to enter prices that the market's offering at the moment. And in a previous video I've showed you where you can go. I think it was dynamic race odds that we showed you, where you can go on a race day to find the best odds available. So once you've done that, I want you to add those or enter those in and populate this column here, which is the best market flux you can find. So let's do that now. I'll simply populate all these columns with the prices that are available out there in the marketplace, and you'll find the spreadsheet will automatically turn yellow on the horses that are over their true chance of winning. So they're the horses that we call overlays, and they're the ones we're interested in backing. Now in this particular race there's 4 horses that are over their odds: Show Affection, White Sails, Tokamak and Diadem. And obviously in most instances we want to concentrate predominantly on those that have the better chances. The better chance in our estimation is Diadem, which we have rated a 27% chance of winning, which equates to a $3.70 price. So any price over $3.70 is good for us and we're happy to bet it. Same goes with Tokamak. We've given it a $7.50 chance of winning, which equates to a 13% probability. So any price over $7.50 we're interested in taking advantage of. Now as I said before, the amounts we're going to bet we've already predetermined, and we're now going to add those onto our spreadsheet in the column here. When I say add them to the spreadsheet, I'm asking you to back it first and then come back to your spreadsheet and fill it in if you want to keep records of all of your bets. So let's just put those bets in now. So there we go. Diadem, $7.50 available now, was $9 at one stage. We'll have 1.35 units. We'll now go to Tokamak, $13 still available, 0.67 units. And the other two are a little bit wide, and there's a good argument to back them because they are over their odds, but we're going to play it a bit tight here and just back these 2 horses. Now the result of this particular race was favourable. I'm using this race specifically for that reason. So we'll just enter now into the finishing position column where horses finished. I'll just populate that column for you. Diadem was 4th, Transporter ran 3rd, Someday ran 2nd, and Tokamak won the race. So what we've actually done here is we've used a strategy of backing 2 horses The total outlay was 2.02 units and the return was 8.71 units, which created a nice winning result. But I will say we don't win every race. That's obvious, no one does. But the importance, it's a bit like tossing a coin. Providing you're getting better than $2 in a coin toss, you have an advantage. If you keep having an advantage, in the long term you're going to win. But if you don't have that advantage, you're not going to win. Some races occur, or quite a few races occur, where there's more than 2 or 3 or 4 overlays. So sometimes you've just got to make decisions whether you're going to back all the overlays, which I don't think is a great idea. I think you need to take some chance or some risk at some stage. So in this case, we chose to just look at the horses that we had as the better calculated chances. So basically what we're saying, if we add the two probabilities together, 27 and 13, there's about a 40% chance we were going to collect in this race. So accordingly, it's only a certain amount of money I really want to outlay. Sometimes there are going to be races where there are a lot of runners that colour up yellow and you've got to make a decision which ones to back. Now, you can't just go out and back all overlays just for the sake of it, in my opinion, although some people do. If you've converted your market to a very small percentage, it's quite possible that you can do that. We don't, and certainly sometimes a horse like White Sails or Show Affection can win and you're not on it, and that's just bad luck. Making correct determinations on which horses to back is very important. First of all, they've got to be overlays, and second of all, you've got to look at things like map position, and if they're not winning from behind, or on a day where they're always winning from in front, well, you've got to make decisions according to the speed map. One of the most important things we do here at Red Belly is we understand that a lot of people don't have the luxury of being in front of screens and having a lot of information. They may be at work, or they may be elsewhere. Some may be at the races, and that's going to be okay. But if you're not in a position to identify prices and enter them into spreadsheets, etc., what we do for you is draw up these strategies and then we'll send them to you via SMS. So just to give you an example of what we did in this race, I'll just pull it up. You can see down here in the blue is a copy of the SMS that was sent directly to our clients that day. And as I said, it worked out in our favour. Not all races will, but we make a good profit long term, as do our members. I hope that's a clear understanding of what ratings are all about, what speed maps do, a little bit about what percentages are, and how we convert those percentages to a price to assist you. And also we give you some staking plan there to assist you in how to bet. Now, just on staking plan, why do we unitize it? Well, it's pretty simple. Some people bet in large amounts, some people bet in small amounts. So if you were a $100 player, 1.35 units means $135. 0.67 means $67. If you're a $1,000 player, it's $1,000 multiplied by that would be 1,350 bet, and that would be a $670 bet. So it's just a matter of adjusting those recommended bet units to suit your bank, and the best way to determine what your units should be as a par value is 1 unit should equal approximately 1% of your bank. So if you've got a $10,000 bank which you're intending to punt in for the year, I'd suggest you take 1% of that, which equals $100, and therefore on this particular race you should have invested $135 on this horse and $67 on that horse. I hope that makes sense. It should. Jump on the website, grab hold of a couple of these spreadsheets and use them, and certainly it's not overly important that you actually fill them out like we do, but I'd suggest if you're going to take your punting seriously, it's something you should do, because keeping records is most important. Cheers.